What is up, Impact Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling Show. I'm Jason, and I am going to give you my review and reaction to last night's Bound for Glory Go Home show for Impact Wrestling. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think this is going to be kind of a quick review. I'm not trying to say it was a bad show at all. It just for a go home, it did. I didn't think it was as good as actually what I've seen a lot of people talk about on Twitter. There's actually been a lot of good things said about the show last night. Just me for a go home to your biggest pay per view of the year. I just didn't think it was. It should have been better. Should have been, I don't know, a little more important. Instead, we get a Noah match. Another Border City wrestling match. And again, I like that format. I like that idea of doing that type of stuff. Just, it's your go-home show. You know what I mean? Should have been really more focused on dialing in and making these feuds very intense. And I don't feel like they did that for all of them. I loved all the really cool video packages that they did. But we're going to see those a ton on Sunday. If you tune in probably for whatever kickoff show they have, you're going to see those. If you've watched the pre-show that they did on YouTube, you've already seen all of those. You're going to see all those again right before those matches. And then it becomes repetitive. And that's one thing that the WWE does that just is, it gets so annoying. So that's, just to fill time. Again, the downfall of recording 2 months worth of shows at once is what we've got in these last couple weeks. Again, not terrible shows, just whenever it's the 2 episodes going straight into your biggest pay-per-view of the year, and arguably right now probably one of the most important pay-per-views in this company's history. And I'm not trying to make it, I'm trying not to overstate that, but it is right now. This is a very important pay-per-view. For going forward for this company. I just feel like it didn't deliver what it should have. But let me go through this real quick again. Like the whole show, it opened up with the video package for Rosemary and Taya, which then led to heading out to Canada to Border City Wrestling, and we get to see Rosemary and Allie versus Sienna, and I guess the debut of Casey Spinelli. People saw pictures with her out at I think it was the Ottawa Redhawks. Is that what their name is? I can't remember now. But their CFL team out there with her and Moose. So a lot of people are like, oh, is she going to be debuting then at these tapings? Well, no, she debuted, I guess technically, last night in a match that was taped for Border City Wrestling. It was a decent match. I thought the best parts of the match were whenever Sienna and Rosemary are in there. Those two are very good wrestling each other. Allie is obviously good too, and I love her character and everything. Casey Spinelli, I haven't seen a whole lot of her stuff at all. This is kind of really the first thing I've really seen of like a full match with her. And she seemed, it could have just been this match, so I don't know if anybody that watches her often can correct me in the comments. She seemed, at least in this match, very stiff. And botchy a little bit. I don't want to just pile on. I'm not trying to say she was awful, because she didn't come off as awful. Just those were the things that stood out to me. Just the way she would kind of fall or she would so obviously brace herself for a clothesline. All of a sudden she'd get stuff like this and hold her arms like this and then take it instead of kind of making it look like it flows. But overall the match was kind of, whatever. It's an obvious thing. It's like, hey, we have these girls in a match. We taped it. Let's put it on Impact. Because why would... so you have two participants, but Gail's not there. But then you have Rosemary, but not Taya. So why wouldn't it be like Rosemary and Allie versus Sienna and Taya? You know what I mean? Just one random girl was thrown in there. But Allie gets the win, pins Sienna. Um, this should be fun. I have a prediction for what's going to happen in that match about for Glory, and it's actually something that was brought up to me as I was watching Big Ray at One Wrestling and doing his prediction show, and but I'll get into that later. But it was mainly his idea, but it's something that like I kind of had thinking. I kind of thought about, but his video came out first, and him saying it totally solidifies my possibility of it. But we'll talk about that later whenever we get to my predictions part of the show. Again, going through it, probably this might have been the best segment of the whole night. That's whenever Bobby Lashley and American Top Team comes out to the ring, and Dan Lambert kills it again on the mic. Says that they're going to kill professional wrestling. They're going to show professional wrestler, or they're going to show everybody what professional wrestlers and professional wrestling really is, and they are frauds. Dan Lambert, man, killing it. And you can tell too, by the way, that all of American Top Team is having a ball doing this angle. You can just see it written all over their faces, because most of them aren't good actors, so they're out there just like giggling, and you can just tell that they're having a good time. Then we go to Japan again. Moose in a random tag match. Again, this is an awesome match to have. I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks ago. I know they can only do whenever it actually happens for Japan, but I'm just saying, like, these type of things. Maybe hold this over. I don't know. It's just Moose randomly in a tag team match with 3 other guys from Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay. It wasn't that great of a match. Moose did look very impressive. If they wanted just to have a match that really showcases what Moose can do athletically, this is the match. I mean, seriously, I've always been a fan of Moose, but this really showed me this guy has it. I cannot wait for him just to keep growing as a person in the ring, as a gimmick, as a professional wrestler, because that guy's going to lead a company one of these days. I'm telling you right now. If you can get all of Japan, I mean, maybe not all, but it was a good majority of that audience to go Moose with you, you've got something in you that says that you're a star. And I think Moose definitely has it. Just needs to redefine and really mold exactly what his gimmick and his character and who he is in that ring. Once all that happens, Moose is good to go. Of course, Moose and his tag team partner Bayashi, they won. Then we go to an LAX promo. They're in their clubhouse. Eli Drake shows up with Chris Adonis. Made me laugh. I also really like this segment. Eli Drake's got a bandana on. Trying to talk some lingo. Adonis is like, "Hey, I made you a gift, and it's fresh guacamole and chips." Terribly racist, absolutely hilarious though. I'm sorry, but yeah, they make a plan, they make a deal to take out Impact and OVE, so then they can't even make it to Bound for Glory. And of course, Conan said this is a one night only thing because after Bound for Glory, we're coming for that title. Should be interesting. I'm kind of hoping that they start booking LAX a little more like the NWO. Not exactly like it, but a little more like it. Like, Diamante needs to start wrestling. Please. I've heard nothing but awesome things about her as an athlete, as a wrestler. Whenever she does get involved, I think she does some really cool things. She's starting to talk more. Love it. She's got a great personality. She knows who she is. She knows what gimmick she is and what this LAX Diamante is. And and I love it. Homicide needs to go after that X Division because now, the rumors are that they are going to have Homicide at the set of tapings, X Division. Then what I'm hoping for, and I'll get it to it in my predictions, that somebody else joins, goes after the world title, and they all hold all the gold, and they run Impact Wrestling for that next grouping of tapings. So, all win these things, right? At some point. So then for the next, all the way up until that next pay-per-view, let's say we'll go into Slammiversary. Let's say it finally fully happens at Slammiversary, where they all hold on to the titles. Then they need to hold on to those titles and absolutely run it thug gangster style, run Impact Wrestling from Slammiversary until Bound for Glory. Like, that's what they need to do. Like, that's what I want to see, because LAX is hot. It can sell a lot of merch. People love them, and people love to hate them. Like, they love to respectfully hate them because they like them so much, they will put them over as heels. You know, there's a difference. There's times, like, trying to think of a good example. I guess maybe Kevin Owens in the WWE. He's supposed to be a heel, but people love him so much that they just cheer him regardless because they just like him. And I think LAX is that next step above. People like them so much that, yeah, they want to cheer them, but they will boo them because they respect them. And they know that they're heels and they have to get booed. That's what they're trying to get, are boos, not cheers. So people will boo them. And they're that LAX is a totally different, cool, bad guy group. They're exactly like NWO, exactly like the Four Horsemen, exactly like the Bullet Club. They're the cool guys, right? So people think that they're cool. So they're kind of those tweeners. But LAX, I think, can take that next step and be that true, actual heel, thug, gangster group that can just run Impact and just, you know, make people scared. Straight up, they can have these people look scared of LAX. And it would come off as legit. But that's what I want to see going forward in Impact Wrestling if I was booking Impact. Then we get a match that just really kind of had me dumbfounded. We're getting this match at Bound for Glory, which, by the way, is if people watched last week's episode, I mentioned how, as of now, there's not an X Division match. We know there's got to be. It's probably going to be, you know, the four-way, but I would add a fifth guy and make it an Ultimate X. Well, literally, I record and I upload. I hit up YouTube. I go sit down. I'm gonna get caught up on some of the YouTube channels and YouTube shows that I watch. And I see Impact Wrestling uploads a promo video of a six-man or a six-way X Division match. Again, just kind of thrown together. Oh, hey, we need to do an X Division match. Oh, yeah, let's throw them out there. Okay, here we go. And it's like they got the idea because this match was already recorded. I don't get it. We're getting this match 3 days before. I was hoping, and I don't know if I missed it. If I did, somebody let me know. They need to up it then, right? So if we get this regular six-way match on Impact 3 days before Bound for Glory, that we're going to see it at Bound for Glory, then they need to come out, and maybe they will. Maybe that's how they'll open the show. This needs to be a King of the Mountain match, a X Division match, or X Division, Ultimate X match, a something. They need to up the ante a little bit, a gauntlet match. Something. It needs to be something different than just six guys in the ring going at it, free-for-all wrestling match that we just saw. But yeah, so we get it here. It's Trevor Lee, Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams, Garza Jr., Desmond Xavier, and Matt Sydal. I thought the match was still fun. Like, I didn't hate the match. The problem that I'm having is why we're getting it on the go home. Why, like, these are the little things that Impact still needs to work on. And anybody that watches all my shows before, trust me, I'm always positive. And I am positive. I'm still positive about the future of this company. Excuse me. And stuff like that. But just, you know, whenever I want this company to succeed so much, and you see like a go-home show like this where certain things clearly like either just fell through the cracks or editing was done wrong or clearly something was happening, and you're just like, ah, man, like little things. Like I said, it was a very fun match. I really liked the match. Um, Desmond Xavier did get the win. He was very impressive in this match. He could be the future of this company as well, or well, at least of the X Division as well. And he did pin Trevor Lee. So that's very interesting. Again, I will give you my predictions on Bound for Glory here coming up after I finish up with this review. Then we get Gail Kim coming out to talk about her match, and I thought the funniest thing was how so obviously edited it was whenever she was then supposed to talk about Taryn Terrell. Because it's just, first Allie, talk about Allie, oh Allie. And then last and certainly not least, well, there was only 2 people that, but clearly they cut out the Taryn part. And that's unfortunate, big time unfortunate. But, you know, she just does a lot of time about the history and, you know, how she wants the title again. Now, one thing I did notice during that talk is they were very mindful of using the term last Bound for Glory. It's not her last match. Now, I know that's what a lot of people are saying, but look, I have a hard time believing that her last match in Impact Wrestling is going to be at Bound for Glory, yet they have 2 months worth of tapings to do that she's right there anyway. Like, they wouldn't just use her to get her throughout the year. Now, I'll get into my opinions on some of that stuff whenever I get to the Bound for Glory predictions, but I'm just saying, it stuck out to me that they kept hammering home that it's her last Bound for Glory, not her last match. So we'll see, you know, what happens with that. Then we get to the main event. This match was fun. This was a really good match. I did like how this all ended for the go home. This is a good way to end a go home show. This was. But we get LAX and Eli Drake versus OVE and Johnny Impact. Just kind of starts off with everybody brawling. And, of course, Johnny Impact comes out a little late. Eli Drake's kind of hiding, hits him over the head with the belt, and they, you know, get all into it. But at the end of the day, Johnny Impact won. Then LAX, Drake, and Adonis attack Impact and OVE to finish the show. You know, just really, I mean, tore up. That's one thing that was the intensity I like. And if they could have done that for a couple other matches that were on the card, that would feel like a better go home. And you know, with them tearing up the ring, doing the gravy train on the wood part, on the exposed ring, LAX brawling all the way to the back and through the crowd and all that stuff. That's really cool. That was a great way to end the show. That was really good. So like I said, overall, I liked the show. My problem was that it was the go home. And it didn't feel necessarily like a go home until we got, you know, except for all the Bound for Glory references, video packages, and then, of course, that last match. You know, whenever you have, like, these intense things going on and you're showing us a tag match with Moose and 3 Pro Wrestling Noah guys that have no bearing on the pay-per-view at all, okay. I mean, I understand, and they weren't, they were very upfront about it, that this was a match that happened a while ago, that they were just showing it on Impact. But at the same time, it just, okay, well, what about what's going on with him and Stephen Bonner and Moose and King Mo? You know, instead they relied on a Dan Lambert promo to really intensify and get, you know, keep people reminded about this this feud, this program. But again, like I said, I like to be positive, so I don't want to you know, talk about that much longer. So let's get into my Bound for Glory predictions. Yay! I'm actually very stoked. This card looks absolutely amazing. Really looking forward to it. I ordered Bound for Glory already on the Fight app. Since we moved in here, I got PlayStation View. Whenever I was going to look to order it, PlayStation Network doesn't have it on there for their live events yet. I haven't checked since, but I was like, you know what? I have the Fight app on my Roku, on my other TV. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and make sure it's ordered, and I've got it done, and I'm ready to go. So I did that. It's on the fight. I'm ready to go. I can't wait. I really can't. This card looks amazing. I can't wait to see what surprises are going on. I can't wait to see how the whole atmosphere is going to look inside that Aberdeen Pavilion. I think that's what it's called, right? Aberdeen something. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm sure everybody else is. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Obviously there's a lot of things going on. There's the one rumor that I'm starting to think now, especially seeing all these releases, that the one rumor I think is true is that Anthem's going to move Impact to Canada. I think that's a very strong possibility. Because I think eventually Anthem wants to take it on the road. But in order to do that, they need to start making some money. And I think with the tax breaks and their local connections to like Border City Wrestling and some of these other Smash Wrestling that are Canadian based, that they have ties in due to the Fight app and the Fight Network, that they can use to help with Impact and start making money. Because everybody's paying to come see this show and come see these tapings. And so I bet they do. I think their basis is going to be in Canada. And then every once in a while, maybe they'll show back up in Orlando at the Impact Zone, go to other places, and then eventually travel like they were saying, like New York and Vegas and Chicago, stuff like that. And it'd be really cool. If they can, even if they stick to this whole 2-3 months worth of tapings all at once, every couple months, if it's in a different city, different venue, it kind of becomes a big event every time they're somewhere new, and maybe they'll get people traveling to show up, and not just rely on just the fans of Impact that happen to live in like New York or Chicago or Detroit or wherever that they might go. So that could work, but I really do, because it's the refs. All the refs are gone. We've seen that. They're not bringing Dutch Mantel, and then oddly enough, and I don't know why they're not bringing Braxton Sutter. He's married to Allie, and Allie's going to be on all of them. So that's kind of weird. That one I don't know if that part's true. I think some of these are just coming out, because earlier today, loved it. Saw Ryan Satin came out and said that I just heard, no joke, that Anthem is making the wrestlers pay for their parking every day during these tapings. And right away, Chelsea Green, Laurel Van Ness just was like, but that's not true. That's just not true. So there we go. I love it. Love whenever Impact wrestlers fight back, because the fans fight back quite often, but we don't know anything either. And so it's not as impactful whenever we're like, you're full of shit, But whenever a wrestler that currently works for a company comes out and goes, you're full of shit, it has a little bit of moxie behind it, So anyway, it does suck to see a bunch of people go, like, especially, I have a feeling these things have happened for a while, or Anthem was waiting until right before Bound for Glory, whenever they were going through maybe a budget thing, and then realize how they're going to head forward, or go forward, because it's a lot of people that were never on TV. Reno Scum, Marche Rocket, MJ Jenkins, Rockstar Spud hasn't been on TV in forever. And some of these people, like, if Spud asked for his release 3 weeks ago and they granted it to him 3 weeks ago, we're just now hearing about it today, or yesterday, or the day before, because we're getting close to Bound for Glory. So people were waiting and then release it. Another time I like James Storm could be going. He could just be going because he could just be done. I love James Storm and I want him to always stay in Impact, but yeah, there's only so much he can do in Impact. The only thing that I would hope he would stick around for is one more title run, and I hope that they would give it to him. I think he deserves it. I think he should have already had a couple of title runs. instead of just that one really short one that he had. But yeah, you know, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with James Storm. But again, like I'm not one of those guys that it's gonna be like, oh, now I'll never get to see James Storm again. No, yeah, I can, because if he goes to, back to the WWE and he goes to NXT, I'll watch NXT. If he goes back to WWE, I'll watch WWE. Like, I have no problem. I like to watch my favorite wrestlers, no matter where they're at. Now, here lately, I haven't been watching a whole lot of WWE because this has been bad. But at least to me, just a lot of things are happening I just do not care about. But let's talk Bound for Glory, shall we? We're going to start off with the, like I said, I think they're going to start the night off with this match. And I think it's going to be with kind of like an announcement of who the new like head guy is going to be. Because we all know Cornette's gone. We all know Jeff Jarrett's gone. Those are things that like they can't just kind of hide behind. They have to address it probably. And I could see them starting off, whether it's in like a pre-show, because I can't remember if they're going to do like a pre-show, preview show, or not. And then, or it's going to kick off the actual pay-per-view. Kind of an announcement. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Scott D'Amore. Or it could be them bringing Bruce Pritchard back. I'm not sure. But I could see it being Scott D'Amore as kind of like the new figurehead. And I can see him coming out and say, you know what, we're going to make this match, we're going to kick things off like in true Impact Wrestling style. It's going to be an X Division match. But guys, this is not going to be any regular X Division match. We're doing Ultimate X. Something. They had to do something, like I said. This would be kind of a good way to kick off the show. But regardless of how, what kind of six-way match this is, I thought about this a lot, and there's a lot of possibilities, right? Trevor Lee retains, because Trevor Lee's gold, right? He's great. You give it to Petey, kind of like kick off the show in like this retrospective kind of feel-good moment. Desmond Xavier, right? Because he's the up-and-comer. He's the one that won the World X Cup, or the Super X Cup. He makes a lot of sense as well. Matt Sydal, obviously, probably the biggest star in this whole six-man, right? But there's a guy that they've had in the world title picture that is now thrown into this X Division match. And Garza Jr.'s never even wrestled in X Division matches. He was in tag with Laredo Kid. And then the World Heavyweight title scene. I would not be shocked. And I feel like they could finally do this, because now this would get wrestled down. This title would be taken down and wrestled in the Crash, and that is Garza Jr. I can definitely see them. I think they have a lot of. They're very high on him. I think they really want to strap something to Garza Jr. and shoot him to the top. And I think it is the X Division title belt. So that's who I have in this six-way. I know it's way out there, but I'm going Garza Jr. I think this is going to be a way out there pay-per-view, by the way, too. Next we have Team AAA versus Team Impact. Again, both these make sense. I just feel like it's an Impact pay-per-view, right? I think they should go Team Impact. Team Impact should win. And I hope they do. What comes out of this, I'm not sure. But I feel like there's going to be something. It's not just going to be like, oh, hey, Team Impact wins, and oh, hey, hello. Some kind of story is going to come out of this. Whether it's, somebody attacks Eddie Edwards for his title, if it's, Storm and EC3 turning on each other. Some kind of story is going to come out of this to go forward with. But that'll be interesting. So seeing the finish should be very interesting to see what happens with that match. But I have Team Impact. Then we got the Monsters Ball match. Abyss. The return of Abyss versus Grado. I think it's going to be Abyss. I have a couple thoughts on this. I think Abyss will win just outright because I think it could be Grado's last match in Impact Wrestling. Reason why I say that is obviously they've been making a lot of budget cuts. I think they're really ready to turn the corner on this roster. And I think Anthem's really starting to dig their hands in and make this their promotion. And, you know, we've heard a lot of rumblings of they're going to start concentrating on wrestling going forward instead of, you know, everything else and all this other stuff. And if all that stuff is the case, look at who they've been releasing. Now, I know Grado's been on TV a lot here lately, but he wasn't for a while. And it's going to cost more money to bring him in because of, you know, he always has to come in from overseas. I'm not sure how work visas work, but, you know, I'm sure maybe they have to pay for something of it, or I don't know, pay for certain fees or something maybe, or unless that, I mean, I don't know, that could just be all on the wrestler. I really do not know how all that works. But yeah, I could see where maybe they cut him after Bound for Glory. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Again, Big Ray over at OneWrestling.com, his video, he had a really good idea too of doing like a thing towards the end. Joseph Park's personality starts coming out of Abyss to hold back and let Grado win, and then like they go forward with more of a split personality with Abyss and Joseph Park, and like they're gonna start teaming with Grado. I think that would be a great idea. I kind of hope that happens, but just for what I've seen, what I think Abyss wins. Then we get Red Wedding, which is going to be a First Blood match. I cannot wait for this match. This match is going to be amazing. I'm super stoked for this match. And we get Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary. I think Taya goes over here. Mainly just because she just started. They really seem to be behind her. They really seem to be pushing her and making her seem really important and big and, you know, like a really unstoppable force kind of thing. And Rosemary could lose here, and it's not going to hurt her. She can bounce back later. But I do think that this could steal the show. But yeah, I think Taya wins. Then we get the 51-50 street fight. OVE versus LAX. And this match, I think let's say they just went straight up 2-on-2 and it was a street fight, hardcore match, and did whatever. I think it's going to be a really good match. I think it could also steal the show. For me, on who wins this, is definitely going to be on how they book this and who they book into it. A while back, I had a video come out on Twitter. I did a Periscope, and it was whenever like Tessa Blanchard was being rumored and Sami Callihan was being rumored. Now Sami Callihan has been pretty much confirmed. Tessa Blanchard's kind of been all over the place a little bit, but the booking of the match has been basically OVE. It's 51-50, which means all of us versus you two kind of thing. So OVE would go out and recruit their friends, right? Well, we pretty much got confirmed due to that video. They're bringing in Sami Callihan. So we know he's going to debut, and he's going to debut in that match. If that's the only other debut in this match, OVE wins. You got like this big debut of a guy to help the faces beat the heels. I got OVE winning that. With the help of Sami Callihan. The only way LAX then beats them if Sami does debut is if, and this is what I've been hoping for ever since I heard that Patron was coming back, is Alberto El Patron returns in this match to help LAX. And they win the tag titles. Because Patron trumps Sami. But then you get Sami versus Alberto in a feud. And I would love that feud. Because I personally think they need to keep Patron out of the title picture for a little bit. The only reason why I say that is because, and just literally just a little bit. Those two feud for maybe like a month's worth of tapings, right? Then you go to the next month, and then you can reinsert Patron back into a title picture that would eventually lead to probably like Bound for Glory or a live taping of Impact. Excuse me. But you keep him out just so then you don't get all the people that are already going to be unhappy about Patron showing up, that he's, again, thrown right back into the title picture. You kind of keep those people that aren't going to be happy about that satisfied for at least a little bit. But you can't keep Patron out of the title picture forever. Okay? I mean, a lot of people always say, oh, I don't know, Patron's that much of a draw. Man, whenever Patron first showed up and he won the title and he was in that title picture, Impact had some of its best ratings and most viewed video segments on YouTube. You can't deny that. Those were happening. Since he was suspended, not so much. And sure, some of that could be because he was suspended. So people are like, oh, same old Impact, never mind. You know what I mean? That could have turned some people off. I'm not doubting that at all either. But I think Patron does bring eyes to the product. I mean, I think he does. It might not be a whole lot more, but it's more. And the guy's a star. And like I said, his last run as champion, his promos were super passionate. He put on some great matches like EC3 and Eli Drake. It's just, you know, I think that Patron and Impact is a whole lot different than Patron was in WWE. But this is where I really want to see him debut. If we get another debut like a Tessa Blanchard helping out OVE as well, to kind of go after Diamante. Yeah, sorry, couldn't think of it. To even the odds like that, you kind of have OVE get one, kind of start 1-1-1-1-1. I feel like a lot of debuts are going to happen. A huge return is going to happen. I really hope that they overbook the hell out of this match because it's a street fight, and they can do it. And it's not going to come off as like, oh my god, that they just threw a bunch of people out there. I hate all these screwy finishes. It's a street fight. It's supposed to be screwy. You know what I mean? Especially a 51-50, right? But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for that match. Anyway, then we'll go on to the three-way knockouts title match: Gail Kim versus Allie versus Sienna. Now, this is the idea that I had kind of thought about. I just wasn't quite sure because Taryn was in this match. Then whenever it went to just the three-way, then I really just I kind of thought maybe just Sienna was going to retain. I wasn't sure how they were going to change this up. Then I was kind of thinking, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Gail Kim wins. For the feel-good moment, she wins it one last time. Because, again, like I said, they're already there, and then starting that Monday, they're going to be doing tapings again. And I just don't see like her just being done after Bound for Glory. Now, she could. Some people are thinking that, but I just don't think that. I think she's going to be there through the tapings. I really do. But if not, and that is her last match, then I have to agree with Big Ray over at OneWrestling.com. Again, giving a lot of shout-outs. But he also said it, so I don't want anybody thinking like I stole his idea. But that is have Allie win by pinning Gail Kim. Because then that allows the story to go forward. Gail exit out on her back, like you're supposed to, like a true professional does. Gives the rub to somebody like Allie. And then you get to keep that story going of Sienna going after Allie saying, you didn't really win this title. You're not a true champion because you never beat me. I never lost that title. I was never pinned. they can go on with that, and that's kind of the more natural feud anyway, dating all the way back to the whole Maria storyline with the wedding and her and Sutter and all that stuff. So that's the more natural feud, Sienna and Allie going forward. So that could be good. So my prediction is going to be Allie pins Gail. But again, I will not be shocked if Gail wins, because she's probably going to be sticking around, and unfortunately lose the title then during the tapings, which I'm not for, because I hate it whenever we do these tapings and then they have title changes, because then it's not shocking. It's not, oh my god, wow, they actually no, because we all hear it. Whether I'm able to stay away from spoilers of who actually won or what title was lost, a lot of times they'll still at least have the heading of spoilers, title change at Impact tapings. So now I'm like, okay, well now I know something's going to happen. So anytime that there's a title change, I'm like, okay, it could be this one. And it's not as, kind of like, oh wow, out of nowhere, shocking. But yeah, so that's what I'm going with. Allie pins Gail. Then we're going to the 6 sides of steel. Moose and Stephan Bonnar versus King Mo and Lashley. I had to really think hard about this one. Just because really Impact would be smart for having either team win. But I think this is one of those situations where you have the face go over the heel, especially since the heel team's being so venomous about they're going to kill wrestling. So I've got Moose and Stephan Bonnar going over here. Then we get the world title match. And again, this is another one. How are they going to book this? Is there going to be debuts? Is there going to be a return? Are they going to put Patron in this? Or are they all of a sudden just going to say Patron's back and he's going to be in the main event for a 3-way match? Is he going to special guest referee? Is he going to get involved? Are we going to see... And this is kind of more who I'm leaning towards, and I know this is like, again, some of these predictions for me are coming out of left field, and I'm not always quite like this whenever I'm making predictions. The person I think Eli Drake was on the phone with, I have 2 names, and the one name, my first name, is my original thought, and that is the returning Austin Aries, because they kind of fit. They kind of fit like the same kind of cocky kind of heel thing, and I think that I think it could really work. The other name, and it only came up the other day because this guy's been now following Impact Creative, different people, retweeting Bound for Glory stuff, and he was a tag team partner with Eli Drake, and I didn't know that. He could be bringing him in. Brian Cage. Because he says something in there, he's like, yeah, I know this company did kind of do you dirty, but, I think you should come back. Brian Cage was part of that gut check. And he should have won. I think he maybe did. I don't know, but something happened. I can't remember, but I remember Brian Cage being part of the gut check segments. And he either won or didn't win, but then, anyway, even if he did win, they clearly didn't give him a chance. So that's kind of what they're talking about. That could also reference Austin Aries. It could reference Alberto El Patron. So it's one of those 3 guys I think that's going to debut or return, and something's going to happen in this match. And even though I said 2 out of the 3 I think would help Eli Drake, one person I think would help Johnny Impact, and that's Alberto El Patron. And I believe that just because he's, this huge star, they seem to be really behind him. They give him the Hulk Hogan music, brother. It's Johnny Impact. I want Eli Drake to win. I want Eli Drake to keep it. He seems to be super gun-ho and really into Impact Wrestling and wants to make this the best company it can be. And so I really hope it is Eli Drake. Trust me, if Eli Drake wins at the end of the night, I will not be upset that my prediction was wrong. I'll be very happy that my prediction was wrong. But I've got Johnny Impact winning. I'm going to let you go with this one last thought. All these releases, oh well. Like, I hate seeing releases, but guys, these weren't people that we really dove into. Outside, like, I hate seeing Stifler gone, Bryant Hebner, Earl Hebner, those three guys gone. That sucks. Those three guys do suck. Spud does kind of suck. But they were never this huge part of what Impact Wrestling was. You know? The Stifler being gone, that's a guy that's been around for a very long time. So that does suck. But, like, I still miss the days of Mark Johnson and Rudy Charles and Andrew Thomas. You know, I miss those refs. Those guys were great. These guys were great too. But things cycle. And I was definitely expecting this, that Anthem was going to overhaul this company and the talent roster and people that they can do. Now, we already talked about that since they're going to be in Canada, they're going to use local people to get through these tapings to help make money, make the most money that they can out of these tapings. And that's a smart move. Yes, it does suck that you see these people get released. But just because I've seen Reno Scum wrestle twice, I'm not going to be super heartbroken over this. You know, MJ Jenkins wrestled, what, once? And then showed up a second time? Okay, sorry. I hope she does great. And I hope maybe, you know, she keeps proving herself and they bring her back at some point. That'd be great. Because I always want Impact to have the best roster possible. If she helps to make that roster the best roster possible, awesome. Definitely looking forward to it. You know, people like that. Marche Rocket, again, he seemed pretty good, but let's not kid ourselves. He's okay in the ring. As far as what I could tell, he was not a talker, didn't have much of a gimmick. You know, Impact's got to now decide with Anthem, what do they want to look like? Do they want to look like a legit top promotion in the world? Or do they want to look like an indie promotion? Because if you want to look like an indie promotion, that's Ring of Honor. You know, Ring of Honor's got a lot of money behind them. They have some amazing talent on that roster. But they want to keep it looking small. So they have a lot of guys on that roster that are very generic. Totally indie guys. All their music is generic. You know, it's just like, hey, what heavy metal song do you want to come out to? Okay, there it is. Like, that's all it kind of, you know, that's all kind of Ring of Honor is. Me, myself, it does, like, the style that they do, I do like some of that. So, whenever I'm in the mood for that type of wrestling, I do like to watch Ring of Honor. Overall, I like the whole picture type wrestling. And that's the stories, the gimmicks, the characters, the great wrestling. That's what I like to see. Whenever WWE is on the top of its game, it's good and it's fun to watch. But they're anymore with no real competition, you don't see it a lot from them. Back in the day, it was WCW was my favorite. I did watch both, but I leaned more, like, I would watch WCW and then flip to WWF on commercials. I had some friends that would watch WWF, but then would flip over to WCW on commercials. Now there's none of that. Of course, there's no need for any of that when everything's like streaming and you watch it on YouTube or whatever else. So you don't need to. You can just DVR it. But, you know, it's just things aren't the way that it used to be. So Impact now, Anthem has to decide what they want Impact to be. And if they want to be that legit number 2 company in the world, you gotta have gimmicks, you gotta have stars, you gotta have stories, you gotta have something that brings people in. And if they can still do those things with more concentration on wrestling, I think they have a recipe for huge success. But it's gonna take time, and it's gotta take some patience, and unfortunately, it's gonna take some, you know, rehauling and overturn on talent. But I'm interested to see what this is all going to look like come Sunday and then the following weeks from these tapings. So, again, until then, well, let's see here, Monday. On Monday, I will do a Bound for Glory review show. And then the following Monday, I'm going to start my first episode on how I'd book it. And, or I'll call it, I'll book it. I'll book it. So if anybody wants to send me some ideas, hit me up on Twitter at Anthem of Impact. You know, it doesn't have to be anything like specific. If you were just like, hey, how would you book a, like, if Impact needed like just one big show, how would you book it? You know, this or that. You know, it's something like that. How would you book LAX? Well, this is how I book it. I'm not gonna sit here and try to bash what Impact does, or anything like that, because that's not what the whole point of this is. I know a lot of like book it shows, fantasy booking shows, they always critique what, you know, the other people. Not worried about that. I'm just trying to give you my creative ideas and just something different to have on this channel besides just reviews. You know, anyway, hit me up in the comments with some ideas. Hit me up on Twitter, like I said, at Anthem of Impact. This video's been very long, so if you are still here watching this with me, thank you very much. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And until Monday, let's hope for the best. But to all the Impact fans, I say peace.